Victoria Sterling adjusted her suit jacket as she stepped out of the towering glass headquarters of Sterling Industries. At 42, she had built one of the most successful tech companies in the nation through relentless dedication and an unwavering attention to detail. Today had been particularly challenging, with back-to-back board meetings and the announcement of a major acquisition that would secure her company's future for decades. Her assistant had arranged for her usual car service to take her to the BOM airport for an evening flight to Seattle. The black sedan waited at the curb, engine running as her security detail flanked the entrance. This was routine, the same careful choreography that marked the end of every business day. As Victoria approached her car, she noticed Miguel Rodriguez working nearby. Miguel had been the evening janitor at Sterling Industries for 8 years, a quiet, hard-working man in his late 30s who took pride in maintaining the pristine appearance of the corporate offices. She had always appreciated his dedication, though their interactions had been limited to polite nods and occasional pleasantries. Miguel was emptying trash bins near the entrance when he looked up and saw Victoria walking toward the waiting sedan. Something made him pause, his experienced eyes taking in details that others might miss. The driver, who usually got out to open the door for Victoria, remained seated. The license plate, which Miguel had memorized after years of seeing the same car service, was different. Most telling of all, the driver was wearing gloves despite the warm afternoon temperature. Miguel felt a chill of recognition. His younger brother Carlos worked in security at the courthouse downtown and had recently shared warnings about a sophisticated kidnapping scheme targeting high-profile executives. The criminals used fake car services with vehicles that looked identical to the legitimate ones, complete with proper uniforms and credentials. As Victoria reached for the car door handle, Miguel made a split-second decision that would change both their lives forever. "Miss Sterling, do not get in that car," he shouted, dropping his cleaning supplies and running toward her. Victoria froze, her hand inches from the door handle. The urgency in Miguel's voice was unmistakable, and something in his tone made her step back instinctively. Her security detail immediately went on high alert, moving to surround her as Miguel approached. "Miguel, what is wrong?" Victoria asked, her business instincts telling her to listen to this man who had never given her reason to doubt his judgment. "The license plate is wrong," Miguel said breathlessly, pointing to the car. "Your regular driver is James Morrison, and he always gets out to open your door. He has been doing it for 3 years. This man stayed in the car, and look at his hands. He is wearing gloves on a 70-degree day." Victoria's head of security, David Chen, immediately stepped forward and approached the driver's side window. The man behind the wheel, realizing his cover was blown, gunned the engine and sped away, tires screeching against the asphalt. Within minutes, the area was swarming with law enforcement. Victoria's legitimate car service confirmed that their vehicle had been hijacked 20 minutes earlier. The real driver left tied up but unharmed in a warehouse across town. The FBI later revealed that this was part of an elaborate scheme to kidnap corporate executives for ransom, and Victoria had been specifically targeted due to her company's recent high-profile acquisition. As the immediate crisis passed, and statements were given to investigators, Victoria found herself standing alone with Miguel in the lobby of her building. The weight of what had just happened was beginning to sink in. "Miguel," she said quietly, "you quite literally saved my life today. How can I ever thank you?" Miguel shifted uncomfortably, still overwhelmed by the magnitude of what had occurred. "Miss Sterling, I just did what anyone would do. I saw something that did not look right and I spoke up." "No," Victoria said firmly. "Not everyone would have noticed those details, not everyone would have had the courage to act on their instincts, and not everyone would have cared enough about someone else's safety to take that risk." She paused, studying this man who had worked in her building for years but whom she was only now truly seeing. "Tell me about yourself, Miguel. I realize I know very little about someone who clearly cares so much about the people in this building." Over the next hour, as they sat in her office waiting for the all-clear from security, Miguel shared his story. He was a single father raising his 12-year-old daughter Maria after his wife had died in a car accident 4 years earlier. He, had been working as a janitor while attending night school to earn his degree in computer programming, hoping to eventually provide a better life for his daughter. "I have always paid attention to details," Miguel explained. "When you are responsible for keeping a building this size clean and secure, you notice patterns. You learn who belongs and who does not. Today something just felt wrong about that driver." Victoria listened with growing respect and admiration. Here was a man who had been quietly working 2 jobs while raising a daughter alone and pursuing an education, all while maintaining the kind of vigilance that had quite possibly saved her life. "Miguel, I have a proposition for you," she said. "Sterling Industries is expanding our cybersecurity division, and we need people who understand both attention to detail and the importance of protecting others. Would you be interested in joining our security team while you finish your programming degree?" Miguel stared at her in amazement. "Miss Sterling, I do not know what to say. Are you offering me this because of what happened today?" "I am offering you this because today revealed the kind of person you are," Victoria replied. "Someone who notices things others miss. Someone who acts decisively when others' safety is at stake. Someone who has the integrity to put another person's welfare above their own comfort or job security." She stood and extended her hand to him. "The fact that you saved my life today just confirmed what I should have recognized years ago. That character and dedication are more valuable than any credential on a resume." 6 months later, Miguel Rodriguez had become one of Sterling Industries' most valued security analysts. His attention to detail and understanding of human behavior made him exceptional at identifying potential threats and vulnerabilities. The company had also established a scholarship program in his name, helping other working parents pursue higher education. Maria Rodriguez, Miguel's daughter, often visited the office after school, where she was tutored by various employees and had begun to dream of her own career in technology. Victoria had become something of a mentor to the bright young girl, seeing in her the same quiet intelligence and determination that her father possessed. The attempted kidnapping had been solved within weeks, with the perpetrators facing federal charges. But for Victoria, the real lesson was not about corporate security or personal safety. It was about recognizing the extraordinary people who surround us every day, often in roles we might overlook or take for granted. Miguel's willingness to speak up when something seemed wrong had saved her from what could have been a traumatic or even fatal situation. But more than that, it had taught her to pay attention to the character and wisdom of everyone in her organization, regardless of their job title or position. At the company's annual meeting that year, Victoria shared the story of how a janitor's keen observation and moral courage had prevented a tragedy. She used it to announce a new company policy. Every employee, regardless of their role, was empowered and encouraged to speak up when they noticed something that might affect the safety or well-being of their colleagues. Sometimes, she told them, the assembled executives and employees, the most important voice in the room belongs to the person who might seem to have the least power. Miguel reminded me that true leadership means listening to everyone and recognizing that wisdom and courage come in many forms. As Miguel sat in the audience that day, wearing his security analyst badge and watching his daughter beam with pride from the visitors section, he reflected on how one moment of moral courage had transformed not just his life, but his understanding of what it means to be part of a community that truly cares for one another. The voice that had shouted a warning on that afternoon had indeed saved everything, not just a life, but the recognition that every person's vigilance and concern for others makes the whole community stronger and safer.